made about 50 videos before I even posted one.
Yeah, wicked.
I just couldn't bring myself to put it up, and you're kind of like in that space where you're like, oh, what are people going to think? I was also actually at the time in a salaried role, so I didn't want to sort of blow the cover on what I was about to do, I suppose, or in the process of doing.
Welcome to Seekers Focus. Voices leading change.
Yeah, sweet.
Easy.
First time, but we'll give it a good crack.
We're here with first time podcaster Andre. I've got to get that out of the way. I've been lucky enough to obviously meet you through Carlos and having you into the coffee group and just yarning away about your own kaupapa and what you get up to, bro. It's a privilege, and I love your energy and how you're always after something, which is cool, but also, you know, you're the only one that brings your boy into the coffee group and watching the bro eat his kai while you're sitting there talking about life. So it's cool to sit down and have a kōrero with your brother.
Yeah, no, it's a privilege to be here. Been listening to a few of the potties, and it's awesome that you're creating a platform for business owners and parents and all sorts of sort of a wide range of different people to come on and sort of share their stories. So privileged to be here, bro. Yeah, and apologies, I haven't been to the coffee group recently. It's the old juggling act of what time the kids wake up versus two of them now. So it's definitely, but I'll be back there for sure because it's an awesome environment to sort of share knowledge. Even in the short time that I've been there, off yourself and other business owners around the network. So thanks, bro. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's dig in. Childhood. You know, I know you're a couple weeks off, is it?
Yeah.
Kaupapa in that space, but where are you from, bro? What's the kaupapa there?
Yeah, so a bit of a blend, I suppose, our childhood. You know, my older brother Makaiti as well. So if people are familiar with the area, there's a corner house in Waitangi that's just before you head up Rangiuru Road, and that's a Ahomiro homestead. It's actually going through some renovations recently. If you look at my Instagram, that's one of the first posts on there. That was sort of our only sort of stable childhood home where Nene and Koro lived. So that they've both since passed away, but that homestead is still a Ahomiro homestead. But we're actually from, on my old man's side, from this side, so Otawa, Te Manga, Rapalapa Hoe, Te Awa, which is most people will know as the Pap Hills and the awa that sits in behind there. Just a bit of a blend of whānau. Mum's from Dunedin, dad's from Manaweka, and my mum's mum conveniently, or ironically enough, married into the other side of Te Puke, into the Ahomiro whānau, and that's how that all sort of connects. So bro, it was a wild and sort of blended upbringing between Te Puke and Christchurch, which has nothing to do with Dunedin. It just somehow snuck in there.
Yeah, isn't the journey of whakapapa such an interesting one, even for us, because I didn't have much to do with my nan's side because she'd passed away by the time I was born, and for whatever reason. But now as we've started to really explore the whakapapa, and we whakapapa back in here to Ngāi Te Ranginewi, you know, and you start to ask,
crazy,
what was going on back then? Like we've got Tōkona was always a name we had heard, but actually it comes from the Duncan, which was a Welsh fella who married into my nan's whānau in the 1800s, and you're like, hey, what was the bro up to? You know.
It's a small world, like everyone says, but even I suppose smaller when the population was that small back in the day, where you know it might take a while to travel, but I suppose you're not as busy and as flat out as what people are these days. So take your time to travel, and it's sort of interesting where you end up.
Yeah. And now obviously based in Papamoa, you know, you got a young whānau. And, you know, it's cool to meet, you know, other men who are out there in that business realm and things. But where does your childhood really launch you into who you are today? What are those what are those kind of parts of you that really resonate?
So, I think I sort of touched on it there, but we had a childhood where we moved around a lot. I think another post that I put up early in the piece when we started the business page was me and my brother counted up one time and we actually ran out of, we couldn't actually come up with a figure, but it was round about like 45 houses sort of growing up. Yeah, so moving around a lot between here, Christchurch, Dunedin, all over the show really. So what that did though is, I guess when we were growing up, we'd start in different schools. I think we went to every school in Te Puke, funnily enough, yeah. And so what it gave us was like the ability to build relationships really quickly, because you had to, right? It's out of necessity. So that's one skill we picked up from that sort of wild upbringing. But one of the other things was getting real familiar with property, which is kind of the industry that I'm in now. Yeah. So
your brothers in relationships.
Yeah.
That's what principals are, and you're in property.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess you take the positives out of those situations, and the other thing was meeting a lot of different people and being able to relate to a lot of different people at different points throughout our life. So yeah, bro, it's certainly shaped who both of us are, particularly myself now in mortgages. You're helping people buy homes, so I guess that's where the why was born, I suppose. Was around, we never really had a solid home when we were growing up, so when I had the privilege to buy my own home, I wanted to be able to share that knowledge and I guess power with other people, which is what we do now. So
you're talking about stability, eh?
Yeah.
You know, like stability or tūturu in your own home. Bro, 45 homes, I've never met anyone in that space, and Russell tells a pretty strong story of 7 homes all in one area, but 45 homes between 3 major areas. You either learned to get on quickly with people or rumbled people, I think.
Or a bit of both.
You're the new person in, someone's got to either rumble or talk it down. But I think a common story for lots of kids, and to see how that feeds into your why is it resonates with me. It's a very important part. But what really gives you the ability to frame it that way? Because lots of people can frame it the other way and be like, oh, but I'm not doing well, or I'm not doing this because I'm 45. Because, your brother's a school principal and you're doing really well in this space and business and whānau and being a dad and husband and things. Where's that from?
I'm not too sure, to tell you the truth, but I think having the different perspectives growing up as well would have helped a lot. And there's definitely certain points in your life, and I'm not perfect like everyone else, but there's certain points in your life, I suppose, where you might have had some challenging times, faced a bit of adversity, but there's always going to be a crossroad to where you see it as an opportunity, positive mindset, or that more pessimistic sort of negative mindset. And I guess me and my brother just always growing up, joking around and bouncing off each other, we kind of made fun of the sort of dark times, I guess, and just sort of, like when you're in a footy team, I suppose, like the wires and the times are tough, but you actually make a light of the situation by making it into a positive, joking around or sort of taking the mickey out of each other. So I guess that's where it came from, and then there's always going to be a crossroads, so you can either see it as an opportunity to grow and develop, or you can see it as a, blame all the outside factors for why things might not go to plan. So I'm not 100% sure, I'm still figuring it out, bro, to be honest, but that's probably part of how we were able to frame it like that, I guess.
The adversity, kaupapa is a lesson that life draws for everyone. What level of adversity it is, is built on a whole range of factors. And probably you, like myself, some of the boys haven't survived the adversity realms, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So in that sense, I guess I really take it as a responsibility of mine to build platforms like this so that we can continually show the brothers that there are people that have got through, you know. And it's like, you know, our kaupapa, that Māori Rōpū, Māori Pacifica Rōpū, even that in such a short amount of time, it's rapid in terms of like creating chances to connect.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's why I think in a business like yourself, where people are making big life decisions, they want to know that they're in the hands of someone who has experienced that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a big step, but also it is, again, people put, and Papamoa is a real interesting one because it's like literally new that way, right?
Yeah.
There's no like real hardcore family connections, you know, not
true,
like TP or Toke where I'm from, you know, Tukoroa, like, you know, there's generations there. Where here it's just like completely brand new.
Yeah.
So making that step to put their roots in the ground is an important step.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the other part of it, I guess. Like you touched on, experiencing it for myself. I remember the first home buyer journey. Back then, 2016, we were able to buy a house for $450,000. It's a lot tougher than that, especially in Papamoa now.
Yeah.
Probably $800,000 sort of minimum. But experiencing that for myself, seeing how it could change people's lives. So create stability, achieve a lifelong goal for some people, create financial freedom for those that choose to carry on and invest in further property and further assets. So all of those things I've experienced, been fortunate enough to gain a little bit of capital on property over my time. As an adult, as a more mature adult, probably. And so like just trying to share those learnings, and that's kind of where the name Mortgage IQ came from. Actually, it was just workshopping around how we pass on intel, pass on knowledge. Hence the sort of IQ part of it. So yeah, I love the thinking behind that, because for lots of whānau out there, you want to hopefully go into an asset purchase knowing what all the cards bring. You know, the amount of people you meet, they're like, what the hell is rates? No one told me about that. or those aspects, but also the continuation, you know, like talking to one of the brothers, Fitz, who's the head of Māori business at BNZ, and he talks to that. He talks about trying to support Māori whānau to not make end goal owning the home, but owning that being start goal, step one, run one. And it is those sorts of key themes that people like yourself facilitate now, right? It's here's the bridge across to all this information, walk across it and we can help. But what does that, when you're delivering those messages into space, like how are you framing that up so A, people are like, okay, I feel safe, but B, I actually have a lot to learn here? Yeah, it's a good question. It's always got to be goal driven by them, I guess. Like some people just want to buy a house and pay the mortgage off as quickly as possible and get rid of the debt, and that's fine. Like we will facilitate that. We'll help with different structures and techniques to get to that point. But if they are open to the idea of property investment, I'm a huge advocate of that, because I've experienced it for myself and what it can do very quickly, especially if you get an uplift like what happened in COVID or one of these sort of events that, whatever it might be, economic factors that increase the value of your property, then we'll certainly help with that as well. And like you said, stories. So I always use scenarios and stories of people. I know a young Māori fella that's 40 here, and he owns 10 properties. Done it for 20 years. It's not something that comes short term. Like you're not going to do that in 5 years normally, but telling those stories, and one of the ways that I do that is via social media. So I think I counted on the way here, I've done about 550 posts about different parts of my journey, other people's journeys, scenarios, and little just 1 minute snippets of how hopefully we can help educate and provide value to people. So that's how we try to frame it up and sort of pass that knowledge on.
And bro, being a business owner, I ran into you guys down the mount the other day going for a walk at a nice time, 9 a.m. in the morning, on a weekday, and although yes, it's certainly something we could say it's privilege, but it's something you've earned. What is the real perks around being a business owner and that time piece, especially with your babies are young?
Yeah. So actually, shout out to my wife as well, Sammy. She's a business owner as well. Also, just gone back to back with 2 boys, 18 months apart. So I think that's something that we planned early. Like we wanted to be in a position where we were privileged enough to spend time, and we actually block out Thursdays. Are blocked out. I don't take any meetings. I might take a phone call here and there if it's an urgent one, but I've set up a team so that they can facilitate any inquiries on the Thursday, and you'll find us down at the Mount, and that's one of the ways we stay grounded and stay on track for why we do it, I suppose. Being able to spend those moments, and it might just be taking Cody down there to have a fluffy. As simple as that. Take him across the road to the beach.
Well, that's what
sit on the grass. As a business owner, I suppose I was prior to what I'm doing now, I was in a salaried role for a big corporate. 10 years we were there, and I'd work 7:30 to 5:30 every day, Monday to Friday. So there's no way that you could structure your day in a way that suits whānau lifestyle like that. So that's something we put those steps in place. My wife left her job first, started her business. That gave us the opportunity to then leverage we freed up some property equity and done all of these things before we took the leap. And so we're lucky, very lucky. Things have gone our way and we're in a position to do that. But I guess that's what it creates, flexibility and time for whānau as well.
And I think the key point that I try to illustrate to other business owners is recovery. When I look at anything, I coached weightlifting for a long time. The Warriors, what do they do every day after the game? They go and recover, and you got to spend time recovering. And I think one of the unseen benefits of doing like a Thursday off or whatever it is that if we can't recover and give ourselves time to breathe and think, it's very hard to grow. You just said 550 pieces of content. You got to give yourself time to think. And it's funny when you walk around the Mount or walk around just in your own world. And I don't know about you, like I wander around the streets early in the morning in a good way, not tagging. But I think, Russell and I, we just love the opportunity to get up early and think. I was up at 4 this morning and just doing some reflections, and it's just like, that's where the recovery piece is so important as a business owner. Because you can just go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't think it's as effective.
Yeah, you're right. And I actually seen you down the mountain there, doing some journaling the other day.
That's right.
With the boys. So the day before that was 2 days in a row we seen each other. So definitely important. And when I say that, we don't work Thursday, we certainly make up for it in other parts of the week. Like I really front load my Monday to Wednesday. Have a lot of my key meetings then. That's because I know that's how I work best. I'm fresher at that part of the week. And so it just allows you to step back, I suppose, on the Thursday. Fridays are normally pretty hectic. Banks don't tend to work over the weekend. So a lot of settlements fall on a Friday because people will want to set themselves up for the weekend so they can move all the furniture on the weekend.
Of course.
So my Fridays are normally pretty hectic. So Thursday was the day that made sense. And rest and recovery in summer, you've got a lot more light hours. So there's definitely, it's more ample opportunity to wake up early. I get up the Mount
Yep.
I was up there this morning. I get up there to, mate, when you look over Tauranga down the beach, it's pretty hard not to use that as a bit of spiritual reconnection kind of thing and reset. So yeah, definitely important.
So the business pathway for you, like you guys have obviously, sounds like you're very intentional in a whole range of things. Whose business goes first for the next range of growth?
Yeah, we still have those discussions. I think in terms of long term, so I've just hired an advisor or a business partner in Christchurch.
Wicked.
That's step 2, and then step 3 is probably Auckland. So I've got a pretty clear plan. That's just reconnecting with my existing network that I've had over a long period of time. But yeah, so I'd say in terms of geography, my business growth will probably take priority. But yeah, if you ask my wife, she'll probably still beat me on some of the scoreboards.
So the advisor, you know, I love those sort of steps. It's, again, we're talking about intentional. What's that about? So, you know, you're bringing in someone in a business partner realm or like pure advisory role? What's it looking like?
That one will be, I'll become a bit of a mentor to that advisor. So what I mean by advisor there is mortgage advisors.
Oh, cool. Yes, right, cool.
But when you touch on that, I can share a story there. I got a mate that I've been mates with since I was 10 years old, who I went to Cobham Intermediate in Christchurch. Shout out to Cobham. Yeah, Cobham. Yeah. And he's worked in the banks and been a mortgage advisor for 10 years now, running his own business. So he acts as a awesome sort of soundboard. Any of the scenarios that I talk about that I might not have seen before or might throw a few curveballs my way, that's the guy I call in a mentoring and advisory sort of role to bridge the gap between my knowledge. I've only been in the industry for just over 3 years now, so there's always going to be learnings and constantly improving and stuff like that. So yeah, he acts as an advisor for me in the mortgage sort of space, and it's a really valuable asset to sort of have on my side. Starting the business, already walked that path. He's probably on the end now where he's looking at selling, potentially an exit strategy. So yeah, man, it's important to have those people to be able to call on. I'm sure you act as an advisor for a few people, but have those of your own as well.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney's old man's been a big one for me. You know, he's done very well, but you know, we're always looking for those people. But I think, yeah, it's a crossover, right? We're kind of, we're pretty aggressive in our growth. You know, like this year we've only been in nearly 6 years, and we've put a CEO, and it's a big move. You know, people almost wondering what, but we don't care. We know it's the right move. And then building out a tech company that we've done, and it's just Russell and I. We managed to get into rooms with people who know a lot more, and we sit down and really love that sort of kōrero. I just want to go back to the, we're talking about structuring out your content, because I think that's like your personal brand. That's such an important kōrero. What is it, like 550 pieces of content? You know, and I love that. Like I love writing. That's why. But also this medium is very natural to me. But what does it look like in terms of creation, structure, posting, all that stuff? What does that look like? I had, it's been about 3 years. So 3 years sort of in the making, and I reckon I'd made about 50 videos before I even posted one. Yeah, wicked.
I just couldn't bring myself to put it up, and you're kind of like in that space where you're like, oh, what are people going to think? I was also actually at the time in a salaried role, so I didn't want to sort of blow the cover on what I was about to do, I suppose, or in the process of doing. So it was a hard one there, and I know people find that challenging if they've got like a side hustle or something on the side that they're trying to build a personal brand around, but then you're in a role there, so there's a transitional period. So I banked up a whole lot of content, and then one day I just hit the go button, and you know, people followed and people asked questions, and oh, what are you up to now, bro? Like, what's happening? What's this about? And it just sort of spiraled from there, and before you know it, 550 pieces. But one thing that I used, which I actually got this off a guy called, I don't know if people would remember him, but his name's Tumihe Rongonui, he used to be a PT, and he framed his whole PT following around Master Shredder and the ninjas.
Yeah.
So, and I remember him putting on this. He just used to put a camera up in the car while he was driving, and that was his way to fit in, because in the car you're either making phone calls or it's dead time, you're in traffic, right?
Yep.
So he put up these videos, and to me that seemed like a smart way to do it. So I just started doing that, to be honest. I just put a camera up on the hands-free, of course.
Yep.
Hands-free up in the corner there.
Safety as. Safe as.
Yeah. And then just started filming doing that. And that way I found you could do 3 or 4 20-minute drive, 30-minute drive, 3 or 4 takes on a minute video. Yep. I don't do a lot of editing, to be honest. I know what I want to say, and I just sort of, I guess, say it without too much editing or filtering. And then I just post those up. And those were the ones that I think I started to build momentum with, because I found how I could structure it with time not being too much of a factor, because you don't want to get home and kids are playing downstairs and you're in the garage trying to which I was actually trying to do at the start. That's what I was trying to do. And that doesn't work well. So yeah, I found that to be the most time efficient way, and then stop the car, edit for a couple of minutes, put your captions together and push go. And some of them hit, some of them don't, some of them are flops, some of them people get all up in arms about. Obviously you're going to always have people not agree with everything you say, but it's part of who you need to. If you're going to build a business, building a personal brand is people want to deal with. They don't want to deal with a photo with, in my opinion, of Mortgage IQ, who no one knows who that is. They want to deal with the business owner or the person from Mortgage IQ that they resonate with the most. So I think personal brand sits there nowadays, and the business aligns to the personal values and all of that. So, and
actually you touch on a major point, that when it resonates, people reach out in those mediums too. I'm a phone caller. I like to ring people, but that's actually a bit of a dying breed. And when you're talking about it, quite frankly, yes, things wins, things don't, things flop, whatever. But actually, consistency generally wins anyway. And that's why hearing that, like the bro that runs Keep the Change, Luke Kemi, like he's so consistent. And the stuff always, and man, I see some people get fired up on some of his posts.
But that actually works to your advantage. That's what the algorithm posts up first.
But he's also talking about stuff he's really passionate about. A lot of my stuff features pretty clearly consistent views, helping our people win. That's a major one that I love talking to, about leadership, about those sort of factors. I don't feel pressure to post all the time. That's not, because there's other ways I'm posting. But that sort of stuff is quite critical, because then you start meeting people, which is a good segue into the networking sides, right? Like, get out and meet people.
So I'm not by no means one of the first mortgage advisors to post up on Instagram, TikTok, that sort of thing. But I certainly had far more experienced mortgage advisors message me as a result of my posting, saying, "Oh, bro, it's awesome what you're doing." Reaching out to say, "Keep up the good work," blah blah blah. And I've ended up meeting them in person in Auckland and whatnot later on, and they've gone on to be, help with different parts of the business setup. So staff resource, or who to deal with at certain banks and things like that. So that's what, not just the client leads that have come as a result of the posting consistently, but the relationships and networking, because that's like 3,000 extra people that may or may not be watching, but the one thing that resonates, they'll reach out and say, whether it's a fire emoji in the inbox or whatever like that. Like, you know, something. Oh, bro, you gotta love the fire. I don't get many of them, but.
I think, like, as we really try to reach the people about building personal brands and relatability and something that people in the industry and outside of it, ultimately, people do want to work with people they like. I certainly think that's important. I think what's important further is when they meet you, they're like, oh yeah, what you do say aligns with who I am sitting across the road from or sitting across having a coffee with. I think that's the real key part. I was actually thinking about that this morning. I was thinking about, I was listening to a podcast, Chris Williams and Narvel, whatever his last name is, but he was talking about the factors around fame and that you don't want to move too far away from what you say in public and what you say in private of being different. You know, you want to be as close as possible. Yeah. You know, might be like, yeah, I'm out in public, I'm like up the wires, but at home I'm like, I'm wires. You know, I fucking hate them. So yeah, it's trying to really keep as much authenticity tied into your posting and information that you're sharing, so that when people meet you, they're like, oh.
It actually makes the time way more valuable with them as well, because they've already cut out the, do I like this person? Yeah. Do they align with what I would normally be thinking? Are they in the same region as me? Like, you've cut out all of this. All of this
grafting that they've got to do before even meeting you.
Building rapport, basically. And that's one of the other parts of, I don't have time to edit probably with fancy captions and all different various cuts and things. I need to get a full-time social media person, but with not editing also comes more authenticity, because you're literally who you are on the camera is who you are in person when they meet you. So many clients and even people that you went to school with back in the day that come through, and then they're like, oh this is what he's doing now, like reach out. Yeah, I've had clients come about like that as well.
And again, off that same podcast, he said, no one out there is better at being you than you. So when you can really get that across and then align that with in-face, you know, kanohi to kanohi catch-ups and things, and who you are in this zone or realm is exactly the same. I think that does so much more for your personal brand, but also just for your mana in terms of people dealing with you. I think authenticity is where a lot of businesses could really win. I think that's an unwritten, almost like expectation that if you have a chance to show your authenticity through multiple mediums, you will ultimately end up doing far better. Because if you get found out in some of those rounds where you're not authentically that, it can really impact on you.
So like going back to that thing I said before about the first post I put up was about the 45 houses. If anyone that knew me in my younger days, seen that, and that was all it would be like, see you later, bro, you're gone. Like, and then I guess you just have to be honest with the whole scenario. I've had mates sort of comment on there and be like, but remember that bender we went on back in 2000 and stuff like that, and you know, that's sweet. It's actually quite classic reminiscing like that, but it's funny. It's funny who gets in contact with you from those sorts of posts. So.
And I think I've found it that people have come across, because even for me, like I was on that This Is Aotearoa thing, which is a beautiful kaupapa, and people, one of the boys messaged and was like, oh man, from who you were when we were young. And I was like, aggressive, fucking violent bastard. Like, I was just so confused as a kid to who I am today, and just seeing that. And I'm not embarrassed of that part. It wasn't a nice part of me growing up, but ultimately we all have the ability, like you have, like how we frame things, and the 45 homes or growing up in those situations, we don't have to accept that as who we are today. But it's crazy, especially when I come across old teachers. It's funny, like Mrs. Puke is a teacher that I had at intermediate. I ran into her at Bay Fair, and she just said to the kids in Kōrero, oh man, this fellow was mischief, and cheeky, but she actually said, look, I'm not surprised. And you don't remember that about you, right? Like, it's when they see you and they say those sorts of affirming things, you kind of get to pat yourself on the back. I think as business owners, we've got to remember that a lot. I try to tell people, like, be kind to yourself as well. Yeah, be hard, be push yourself, challenge your current inner models, but you also got to find time, like a Thursday, to sit down with your whānau, drink a fluffy, and pat yourself on the back, eh?
100%, yeah.
And the Warriors.
Yes.
We're not far away from finals. We're certainly in the finals. Yes. But you're a big fan like me. We've got 2 games. What's your prediction? We've got Para this week. You're up for, eh? Yep.
Yeah, we'll be there. Yeah.
And then
Manly's the tough one.
DC's last game out of there. Are they still top 8 option? Can they make that yet still?
Mathematical, maybe a mathematical.
But DCE finishing up. But what do you reckon?
I think we get the job done against Parramatta. Yep. I think the more risky game, like you allude to, is the DCE farewell. A lot of emotion. It depends where that emotional energy goes. Yeah.
Is that Brookvale?
Over in Brookvale. And I don't know, with the final round, you never know exactly who's going to rest or what we need to do to make the 4 at that stage, depending if we lose this week. Yeah, so it all depends on going into next week, but I think we get the job done against Para, I think, comfortably.
Yes.
You never
had a good win of the week, you know. A big Roosters, and I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, a couple of unlucky HIA and a
I know, very unlucky.
But no, Warriors, massive Warriors fan in general. Good to see the boys back in finals. Seen you on the way to the Vegas trip this year, which is an awesome thing to experience. And just being a lifelong Warriors fan, riding that roller coaster all the way through. Again, it's another way to build adversity, being a Warriors fan, I reckon. Build a thick skin.
Someone said to me yesterday, I was doing the shopping, she said, I was wearing a Warriors jersey. She said, the Warriors had a good win last night. I said, yeah. She goes, and the All Blacks, blah, 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 a bit nervous. I said, I don't watch the All Blacks. She was like, what? I said, they're a much safer bet, I guess, than winning that. But look, you got to get behind something. You got to, for the ups and downs, and when they win one day,
you have to be there,
Well, I've got to be there. It's we're not far away from that, but to see us back in finals footy, if we're in top 4 as well, far out. What a year. Well, brother, it's cool to yarn, cool to chat. Where can we find you? That's a good...
Oh, yes. So the business, we got a website, mortgageiq.co.nz. So you'll find us there, and then on the personal brand side, Andre.themortgageguy.
Yes.
So that's people know what they're getting there. That's my Instagram handle. Same on TikTok as well, and then Mortgage IQ Instagram's on my personal page anyway. So that's the best place to find us. Or at Kawa Cafe, having a coffee review in the morning at about 8 o'clock. Or a fluffy review.
Fluffy review, that's a good one, yeah. All right, brother, well, thank you. We appreciate your time and energy. Good luck for the future. And up the waz.
Up the waz.
Awesome, brother. Wicked.
Awesome.